Welcome back and moving on to our second segment of today. Talking about Egypt's recent macroeconomic and structural reform that took place and actually this stabilized the country to enter all or to confront all the challenges that we are facing, in addition, of course, to the COVID-19. Over the phone, we have with us Dr. Youmn Hamaki, Professor of Economics at Shams University. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Nash.
Good morning, Doctor. So, talking about all the programs adopted by the Egyptian government, talking about the macroeconomic reforms and structure and the infrastructure as well, and how this helped to confront the challenges that we are living right now, especially when it comes to COVID-19.
Yes, actually, Egypt started 2016 a comprehensive program of economic reform in which we have liberalized our exchange rate and tried to address the most important challenges, on top of them subsidies. And actually, this economic reform has succeeded during this period, which has been reflected on macroeconomic indicators such as a rate of growth that arrived to 5.7% before the pandemic, and the stabilization of macroeconomic indicators, as well as reducing inflation rate and unemployment rate. When the pandemic actually came, it affected seriously such a reform. We were expecting to have a rate of growth about 6%, but due to the pandemic, this rate of growth has decreased to 3.2%, and actually the fiscal year 2021, the first half of it proved that there was a decrease in the rate of growth to about 1.5%. From here it comes the importance that the government launched lately a very important program of structural reform in order to complete the financial reform that started in 2016. This structural reform actually aims to enhance the capabilities of the real economy. We have in Egypt potentialities, very high potentialities, specifically in the industrial, the agriculture, and the information technology sectors. And we are concentrating on these sectors for the coming period in order to enhance our capabilities to improve the resilience of the economy to confront COVID-19. And this is the most important aim for the structural reform. And this coincides actually with the very ambitious program of President El-Sisi of reforming the Egyptian villages by injecting approximately 500 billion Egyptian pounds towards improving the quality of life for people in villages, as well as activating our resources in such villages by enhancing the competitiveness of the industrial sector. This is what actually we have to concentrate on in order to generate.
Right, I think we lost our phone, but I believe that Dr. Youmn will be back soon over the phone to continue talking about the economic reform program adopted by Egypt, and also how this stabilized the economic status of Egypt so far up till today. As we all know, due to all the challenges we are facing in the whole world, yet Egypt was able to keep its economic stability and also to keep its economic growth. Dr. Youmn Hamaki is back. Hello?
Yes, Nash.
Yes, doctor.
I was talking actually about the structural reforms that had been launched lately in Egypt in order to activate the role of the real sectors, on top of them the agriculture, industrial, and information technology. Egypt is witnessing, complete transformation towards enhancing our capabilities in these sectors, taking into consideration that the competitiveness of the industrial sector. We have a lot to be done by exploiting our resources, and even most studies after the pandemic proves that one of the most important tools that any country can refer to is how to increase the productivity of the economy. And here we have a lot of potentialities for Egypt. The productivity of labor, it has a very good potentiality to be improved by training and upgrading, and by transferring technology, and by linking, our R&D and scientific research with industry. And this is actually what we are doing nowadays, trying to improve the competitiveness of our industrial sector. We have a very ambitious goal to increase our export nowadays from $27 billion, which is quite minimal compared to the capability of our industrial sector, towards 100 billion.
Hello?
Yes, I'm with you.
Doctor, talking about, definitely, as you mentioned, as we always talk about how we can see incentives and support also to the SMEs in Egypt. And this also helped a lot, especially during this critical period of time, providing more job opportunities and also giving more potentialities. In addition, of course, to the one of the most important parts is exporting.
Yes, I fully agree with you, and this is one of our goals, because you cannot achieve, like I mentioned, we cannot achieve the goal of increasing export without an active role of SMEs. The problem of SMEs in Egypt that we have a very good experience, but still our youth cannot find good opportunities regarding, regarding finding the potentialities of financial and non-financial services that can support them in order to start their own business. From here it comes the importance of, incubators and industrial clusters. And this is the aim of the government nowadays, to activate the role of clusters and incubators and this should be done on sectoral level from one perspective, and geographic level, because nowadays we are trying to specify which taking into consideration the industrial map, which, part of Egypt can be competitive in specific industries, and try to, activate and, strengthen the competitiveness of such industries by linking them with SMEs, because we have a lot to be done regarding increasing the local component of the industrial sector. Instead of importing a large percentage of the needs of our industrial, like as our studies mentioned, 34% of the need of the industrial sector in Egypt are imported. A lot can be done regarding producing at home instead of importing, those components. And here it comes, the role of SMEs can play a significant role. But since our youth are not educated well towards being entrepreneurs, referring to our educational system, here's a need for the incubators to help. And this is what we are trying to do for the coming period, how to activate the role of incubators. And Nasha, another point which is quite important is the economic empowerment of women.
Of course,
this is quite important, because still the participation of women in Egypt in economic life is still very minimal compared to other countries and compared to the potentialities of Egyptian women. Because I'm working on the field, as you know, There is the large capabilities for Egyptian women in Upper Egypt, in the slums area, in poor area, and this is the most, effective way to address poverty, the economic empowerment of poor, concentrating on women, and this may help us to confront and address social problems, on top of them increasing rate of population by activating the role of women in the economy.
Right. Dr. Youmn Hamaki, Professor of Economics at Shams University, thank you very much for joining us. And I believe with this we come to the end of our breakfast show for today. Thank you all for joining us. Remember, join us again tomorrow, same time, for more with our colleagues on The Breakfast Show. Till then, thank you for joining us and stay tuned for more coming up on Nile TV International.